Welcome everyone to Every Woman Empowered's Chit Chat. I am your host, Shauna J. Cerniak, the founder of Every Woman Empowered. And today we have with us
Jani Galarno, international artist and resident artist of Every Woman Empowered.
Mila Janu, founder of Let's Laugh Yeg and happiness ambassador for Every Woman Empowered.
And our special guest today is Jacqueline Short. Jacqueline is the ninth child born into a family of 12 children. And she is from the Saddle Lake Cree Nation. She has 4 children and lost her daughter, 13-year-old daughter, in a tragic accident 15 years ago. And through that, Jacqueline has come out with strength and tenacity, and she now empowers others as an educator at the Musqueam School in Musqueam, Alberta. So we want to welcome Jacqueline Short. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Shauna. Thank you.
We are so excited to have you. For those who don't know, Jacqueline and I used to go to school together. I'm from the St. Paul region, and both Jacqueline and I hung out together, and we've known each other for quite a few years. So we're very excited to have Jacqueline here with us today.
Don't forget Girl Scouts.
Oh, yes, Girl Scouts. We were Brownies and Girl Guides together, and boy, did we ever look cute.
She was so bossy.
I was not.
She still
Those
is.
leadership skills.
She still is.
That just shows leadership and strength. That's all it was. So, Jacqueline, I just want to thank you for coming out today and being a part of our show. And I know right now there's been a lot going on with COVID, the racism that we're seeing down the States, everything that's kind of happening down there. And with June being Indigenous month, I want to talk to you a little bit about racism and how it's affected you in your life, and how are you an overcomer and overachiever, overcomer of racism?
I just, I've accepted myself for all that I am and everything that my people have brought to our life experience. And anything that has been painful or traumatizing that is expressed from my people in various ways, I know that place comes from something that is rooted in a history. And I know that deep down, authentically, that's not who we are. So with that, thanks to my education, I've been able to come to an understanding of these different ideas on my identity, my roots. And I've actually received a lot of strength from it, a lot of knowing that nobody can take from me. Nobody, not even me. I can't even take it from myself, because that's how deep I've accepted it.
Right. And do you find that now as you go forward and as an educator and working with youth, are you helping them and educating them and showing them the process of how you became where you are today and kind of help guide them? I
do. I've been fortunate enough to teach social studies to high school students, which is our youth. And oftentimes the issues will touch on different current events. Like right now, what's going on in the States, this would have been a hot topic in the classroom. And it does touch a lot of deep chords within our young people. But fortunately, I'm seeing more and more who aren't being really impacted by racism. So I see that as a positive sign, and that we're growing. So irregardless of these events that are going on currently, I know for a fact that we are growing within learning to be more accepting of each other, and that our young people aren't afraid as much as they used to be. So that's great. So there is a light throughout all of this.
Wow. That's pretty powerful. That's showing that, yes, it is a slow process, but it's a process that's going in a positive direction.
It is. It totally is. Totally is.
And I think once, as you know, the more we talk about it, the more we share, the more we can enlighten everyone. I think that's huge. you know, we're all into this together, and you know, it's only together can we really be united as one.
Exactly.
So yeah, thank you very much. I know that Neela had a couple questions for you on a variety. I know we have some other topics we want to talk about. Neela, what was your question that you had for Jacqueline?
Jacqueline, I want to know how you're empowering others to live healthier.
Through social media. I'll post my smoothies, the juicing I do, the salads I'll eat. I stay away a lot from posting any of the ugly food. I don't eat it very much, and when I do it, I'm not into it, and I feel in my body. So, in my opinion, I shouldn't say opinion. From what I've learned when it comes to our senses, our different senses that we do have, even with what we see visually, it affects us. It affects all of us just from seeing.
Right.
So we're digesting a lot of information and energy just from seeing with our senses. And so I take that to my advantage, and I just say, I don't preach. I just say, look what I'm eating, look what I'm drinking, look at what I'm doing.
You know what's hilarious?
Do you get a lot of comments and questions and people asking about recipes and workout routines?
Nobody asks me. I did. I actually recently I had one of my friends asked to join this First Nations Métis Inuit challenge. Challenge, and there's a fitness test that we would have to do first, and then we'd have to repeat it again after the 10 weeks. So it's scheduled to start on June 15th. And I looked at that, and I looked at the whole procedure for signing up, and I told her, you know what? I know what will happen. I will do good in that fitness test. I know I will. And then I'll have to work really, really hard to get that really high up by 10 weeks.
Well, it's funny. Jacqueline, you say you do postings of your food, and I follow Jacqueline. You know, I'm a big fan of watching Jacqueline work out while I'm eating my ice cream. But I have to say, Jacqueline posts. She says she posts only the good food. She always posts when she has moose nose soup, and I'm like, that is one thing, I'm sorry, is not a pretty sight, Jacqueline, okay? That's not a pretty food, seeing that moose nose, okay? So I'm just telling you right now, no more moose nose, okay? For us that, and it's really a moose nose, okay?
I will not take that as discrimination.
Now maybe slap some sour cream, add some onions and bacon bits on it, and then, you know, we can maybe like
do something.
Yeah. Jaddy, you had a question?
I do. I know you've done lots of things differently lifestyle-wise in the last 5 years. Could you talk about some of the things that you were doing, like your exercise and that sort of thing?
The first step I did was leaving a 30-year toxic relationship.
That's huge.
That was the first one. But I know for a fact that I had help from my helpers, my spirit helpers. And it is through their help that I am able to do a lot of what I do. And I know it and have done. So with that change, I know that there was help there. But that's another story. I'm currently in the process of writing my memoirs. So it's
that's exciting.
Yeah, it's I've got some connections. Yeah, I've got some connections right now, so
good for you.
It's tough. I'm telling you, it is tough. Holy man.
And hard on the heart sometimes too, right?
Yeah.
I'm still in my childhood. I'm doing this in chronological order, right? I'm still in my childhood, and I'm like, okay, the rainfalls have started, and I'm only in my childhood.
Well, you know what they call that when you cry? They call that healing rain. And you know, you are definitely, as you're writing this your memoirs, there's going to be a lot of healing going on throughout that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Wow.
Tough go, man. I can see why people don't do it.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
not
it
an easy
isn't
process, right?
easy.
No, it's not. Did I answer your question? Okay, yeah, that was a start. And
What else? What else have you
Well,
done that's different?
my mind started opening up more. It actually cleared a lot of space in my head when I ended that relationship. So I was able to look around myself more and look at myself more and feed myself. So I fed myself by giving myself more care. I've always wanted to get into my fitness, never did in all my life, but my suddenly sagging muscles from midlife said, Jacqueline, this is the way it's going to be for the rest of your life if you don't do anything. And I'd be like, oh my God, that's horrible. So I started hitting it, and I've stepped in and out of it quite a bit. And then now I'm more into it in the past year and a
So do
half.
you have a specific routine that you do?
I was doing cardio mainly for quite a while, and then I now switch it up to weights and cardio. So I've been doing some research as I've gone along, and definitely weights and cardio is the way to go. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, you need that mix of the two. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And eating well, drinking well. I don't drink pops, rarely ever. I once in a while eat chips. Usually when I'm on vacation, that's when the crap food comes in. And yes, I've done a lot of traveling since then too. It was my friend who does a lot of traveling, period, and she was off in Thailand. Well, she was planning a trip to Thailand for 8 weeks a few summers ago, and she said, why don't you join me? You know, I had just ended a relationship I was in, and I'm like, yeah, I should.
And you did.
Yeah, I booked a ticket, and I'm like, hey, I'm joining you.
Yeah. You know, I think that's where I personally saw your journey really truly begin. It was almost like a eat, pray, love moment for you being out in Thailand. And it was so exciting to see you go through the process and where you are today. Like, that's huge, right?
I never, the way I lived my life during most of my life was I kept blinders on. I didn't dream of anything. Actually, I lied. There was one dream I had, which was to go to Denmark because of our friends out there. But the only thing that held me back was a relationship because of his circumstances. And yeah, it was just a dream that stayed in the back of my head that I felt chained to. But I made it come true last summer. So
yes, you did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I have another question for you, Jacqueline, except this has to actually do with food. If you were an ice cream, what flavor would you be and why?
Well, the best Neapolitan ice cream on the block, none of that generic, those yellow brand.
No name brand for you.
No, we do like the high level here.
You eat healthy all the time. When you're gonna have ice cream, it's like the best ice cream.
Exactly. That's the way I roll.
Love it.
And the reason why is because it's got 3 distinct layers, and each one, when they work together, it's beautiful. It's like it's a symphony, but yet you can still separate them if you want. Eat them each layer at a time, and it's still perfect. So I like that. I like how it's just separate, and they're great, and together they're still great.
Yeah, they are. I love that.
Yeah.
You might just want to sprinkle a little bit of nuts on top because there might be a little side of nutty in there. I'm just saying for you.
I will. I'm writing notes, taking notes.
So Jacqueline, we know that Shauna's happy place is eating ice cream while watching you work out. What's your happy place?
Mainly my happy place is within me, and I find it when I allow myself to be happy. And it doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm always reflecting on my mood every day, and seeing where my thoughts are at, how I'm feeling. And if I'm not feeling good, I'll start questioning myself, what's going on with me? How much sleep did I have? Am I hungry? So I go through my little checklist mentally. Nobody knows I'm doing this. I'm not talking out like, hey, Jacqueline, what are you doing? What's going on? I don't do that. It's all going through my head. And when I'm able to figure out what the issues are, then I'll work myself towards taking care of it. Then I feel good again.
Right.
Sometimes I just need to exercise. And then once I do, I'm like, okay, I feel good. It's within myself, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter where I go.
That's huge.
Well, I lied. I mean, sometimes sitting on the beach is a pretty happy place.
Pretty happy
Yes.
place.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can all agree to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially now more than ever, right? All of a sudden,
Yeah.
the beach is looking really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's within.
Yes.
It's within.
So we are in Indigenous month. And as a strong Indigenous woman, all right, what would you like our viewers, what's a message you want to give our viewers during this time of with COVID, and as well for all that's going on in the States, and with it being Indigenous month, what's something that you want to leave as a message to our viewers?
I was speaking to my granddaughter today because she's a TikToker. She's only 9 years old, and she is learning a lot of stuff just from TikTok. And today she was talking about the things that were going on in the States and how it's based on racism. And she questioned me, what is that? So I gave her the definition, and I gave her a little bit of the history of what went on with between the Black people and the Americans. And I said, the only thing we need to do, I said, this would all be gone if adults were to show kindness and acceptance to everybody. That's all they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's these behaviors, this hate and this violence is learned from adults. That's all it's learned from. I said, because you guys, I said, you're just learning everything that we do. And so I said, as you grow along, and this is what I told her today, coincidentally. I said, as you go along, I said, it's going to be up to you what you're going to choose. You are going to choose either kindness and acceptance, yep, or hate and fear, violence and fear. I said, it's up to you. So yep, she's a very good listener, eh? She thinks about things. So I told her, ultimately, it's up to you. It's going to be around you. And I feel truly that if all adults right now simultaneously were to accept kindness and acceptance in their hearts for everybody, we would eliminate this bam, like that, just bam. Because our kids around the world wouldn't know anything different.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is how quickly we can shift things. We can actually do things so fast. I think we would be amazed how quickly we can shift things. Mm-hmm. So the message I would give would be, in our traditional teachings as Nahiawak, if you look to our value system, that's where you're going to find all the answers to what's going on. It's timeless. It's our existence. If we choose to accept it, it's your choice. It is your choice. And why not choose it? Why not? I mean, I've been faced with all kinds of things, and road rage the other day on a highway. Somebody was riding my bumper, and I was ready to just say, yeah, do the bird and everything. And I'm like, nope. Just meditate, Jacqueline, breathe through it. Good things. That's all I thought to myself. And guess who I passed on the highway being pulled over by the popo?
Oh, karma.
So let the universe take care of its own.
Yeah.
And it does. It does. So don't worry about it. If it doesn't happen this generation, it's going to happen in the next generation. It affects us, whether directly in our lives or it's going to go on to the next one. So the more good that we can display and have truly in our hearts, it's got to be authentic, right?
Yes.
Come
yeah,
from an
absolutely.
Place. And that's the most powerful thing we can give.
Yes, to have acceptance and kindness. So simple, but yet can be so hard for some.
Yeah.
And I love that. Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ladies, did you have any parting questions before we let the beautiful Jacqueline Short leave us today?
Oh, how do you say goodbye in Cree?
couple of ways. You can say Muestas,
Westness?
or Muestas, Mwestas, Muestas,
What's this?
and or Examaga. It's not really, we don't have a goodbye. Examaga is like, we're good for now. We're good for now. But we can use that when we say goodbye, or Muestas. I need to look up that one again. That one I didn't hear for a long time till I started working at Musquecheese. That word. So Musquecheese seems to have its own flavor of Cree words that it likes to use different. That's what
Like
I
a
noticed.
slang.
No, it's not a slang. Slang. It's
Dialect?
their own. There is a bit of a difference. People can tell when people are from other reserves because of the type of Cree that they're using.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm noticing here is they're using Cree that I don't hardly hear, but it's good. I enjoy it.
That's
I'm
good.
I'm an avid learner.
Absolutely. And
Muestas.
Cree is almost a lost language. So the more that people can learn and keep it, that's so powerful, right?
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Jacqueline, for being a part of this show today.
Oh, thank you. Thank
really,
you.
truly appreciate it. Jacqueline has been at our conferences and been a guest speaker at our conferences. She has impacted a lot of women at our conferences and through her words. And I just want to thank you again for your sage advice and for being a part of our show today. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
West, west.
More salads.
Feel
We'll eat more
the
salads.
love!